welcome to Manthropology. I'm Larson Halleck, your licensed personal trainer, video host, and scientist. I have gathered you here today to discuss that most fabled of things, the alpha male.
Oh snap.
That thing that every boy and man who wanders into the manosphere aspires to be, that cool paragon of masculinity who can intimidate men and attract women without a single word. The man for whom all social interactions are an automatic success. In short, the man who is explicitly masculine and can use that masculinity to grab the world by the throat. Or, alternatively, it's a load of smoke and mirrors drummed up by hucksters and pick-up assholes, if you'll pardon me borrowing my own expression, to sell hokey seminars and boot camps to impressionable and frustrated nerds. This is a matter of some debate, so let us reiterate the question. What is the answer? Is there such a thing as an alpha male? And if so, how can you become it? First of all, let us clear up one thing. The fakers, as opposed to the truthers, are right about one thing. The lupine metaphors used to describe alpha males talk of lone wolves and rabid carnivores are complete bullshit. You see, a wolf pack is actually an extended family, with the quote-unquote alpha male and female being the progenitors of the family, with the others being relatives descending in age until you get to the pups. Any observation of a pecking order and dominance fighting associated with stereotypical alpha behavior is drawn from observations of captive wolves that are thrown together into artificial packs, disregarding familial bonds. In fact, it is very rare that wolf packs will have an unrelated wolf in them at all. So that's the end of the story then, isn't it? Alpha males are bullshit, right?
Wrong.
While alpha males as we conceive of them do not exist amongst Canis lupus, to say that no animal has this sort of social structure is entirely wrong. Allow me to introduce you to the Zoological Harem. It is exactly what it sounds like. A social structure consisting of one dominant male, maybe one subordinate male who presumably fetches the dominant male's slippers, a number of female mates, and the offspring of the dominant male and his females. This social structure is largely beneficial to all involved. The dominant male gets to have his choice of females and thus ensure his reproductive fitness. Evolution is truly not survival of the fittest in the sense of living, so much as it is surviving long enough to mate and pass on your genes. The females get to mate with the best male, as well as have somebody to protect them from predators and interlopers. And the subordinate male can maybe sneak some sex for himself if the big guy's not watching. In short, it is what every newly red-pilled geek wants to live his life like. This type of social structure is not the most common, but it does exist in several phyla and classes, ranging from certain types of deer and bat, elephant seals, a few species of fish and insect, and most notably, many species of primate, like the various species of baboon, the langur, and the gorilla, and perhaps humanity as well, but we'll be talking about that in a little while. While the whole monopolizing sex thing sounds like a good idea for that one man, the harem structure has its drawbacks. Having to constantly defend the harem from both predators and your own species interlopers is pretty stressful. And as some of us know, stress is not good for your blood pressure or immune function, whether you are a human or an elephant seal. In some cases, stress can impede with reproductive success, like in certain types of baboons. And to learn about that, let us dive into Robert Sapolsky's baboon testicles. Wait, what I meant to say is, let us dive into Robert Sapolsky's research on olive baboons' testosterone production and immune function. Olive baboons are, of course, one of the many primate species that have a harem social structure. More accurately, it's a little bit different than the gorillas harem being probably the purest example of this in the primate family. Olive baboons live in groups of 15 to 200, in which there are a few males and many females and young. Amongst males and females, there is a social pecking order, and sexually mature males will either fight for dominance or leave to find another tribe in which they can be dominant. What's the point of talking about this, you might ask? The point is that levels of testosterone and cortisol, and thus immune function and healing, in any given individual baboon was directly correlated to the level in the hierarchy they were at. Those at the top had high testosterone and low cortisol. They were confident and unstressed, thus they had strong immune systems. Those at the bottom of the pecking order had lower testosterone and higher cortisol, and thus had overall poorer well-being than the top of the order people. But curiously, those who got ill the most were those who were possessors of high testosterone and cortisol, those who were kind of the middle of the pack, those who interacted with the alpha male and may have challenged him but were still below him. These almost alphas were the ones who got into the most fights, took the most abuse from the alpha males, and were the most likely to leave and try to start their own tribe. These monkeys were also associated with having more challengers to their dominance, more fighting, and thus more stress and shorter average lifespan. In other words, those who were essentially trying to force themselves into the alpha role had higher rates of stress and more challenges to their dominance. Some of them managed to secure themselves an alpha position, which allowed them to finally relax, and some do not. The point I'm trying to make is, a major drawback to the harem social structure is the fact that the dominant male will fairly often be challenged, and of course, should you lose face, you will cease to be dominant. And don't think that the challenges are going to be done by Queensberry rules. No. Amongst our primate cousins, beta males will ambush, double team, and sometimes even resort to infanticide of the dominant male's children, just so they can get a shot at reproducing. This is passing on your genes, after all, and literally nothing is more important than that in the game of life. And in something that important, there's no time to play fair. Hence all the stress. You see, it all ties together. The final question remains. Since humans are primates, do we possess a harem social structure? In short, is the concept of the alpha and beta male relevant at all to Homo sapiens? Well, looking at what we just discussed and comparing it to humans, polygamist social structures are fairly frequent in history. A social pecking order undoubtedly exists wherever a group of humans exist. Attempting to force yourself into an alpha position can sometimes cause a tremendous amount of stress and possibly physical injury, as any red pill man could tell you. And yes, beta males do use subterfuge and underhanded tactics to take down the alpha male. So, to an extent, yes, I think we are a harem social animal, and alpha males do exist. I would argue that nobody is truly born alpha or beta. It depends on the situation you're in. To cite an example, you or I, well, me, I don't know about you, would be an alpha male in a room full of fat incels. But we would be a beta male in a room full of Olympic weightlifters, professional MMA fighters, and porn stars. With that being said, take into account the discussions of male dispersal and challenging, and have hope. For even if you are a quote-unquote beta male, or any of the other hastily slapped-together Greek alphabet designations you find on the internet, you can become an alpha male with work, luck, and properly challenging the dominant male, or finding an environment where you yourself can be dominant. I'm Larson Halleck, and I appreciate all of humanity in its splendor, and our hominid cousins as well.